Hey, what's up everyone? Hey, it's Dion Johnson. I'm here with Dave Killoran, and if you remember, we're starting a docu-series here in Shelton, Washington. We're at 6 and Laurel Street at Dave's new build right here in downtown Shelton, and we're documenting the build process. So if you remember last week, he started doing the dig out on this project here, and so today he's gonna describe what's happening here. We've got some wood on the ground, and so Dave's gonna tell us what's going on here right now.
All right, Dion, well, like I said, you picked the best days to come filming. Working in the rain. It's Western Washington. So right now what we're doing is the footing concrete, and this is the initial pour. It has to conform to certain specs for the size of the house. So this is a basic footing that's just a 6x12, and the bar inside is for reinforcement. All the stakes and cleats that are on it is because concrete is very powerful, and it'll take this wood, break it apart if you don't have it reinforced every so often. What's left to do is just to level it up. I'll break out the laser and hopefully not get washed out.
And so after you get it all laid out, the next step is concrete. Is there any inspections involved between now, like laying everything out?
So there's a series of inspections for concrete. You have to have an inspection on the footing, and what they look at is to make sure you have the required bar inside and that it's tied appropriately. You pour the concrete and set the wall forms, and because the concrete will be perfectly level, the wall forms just get set up. You don't need to re-level those. They're just going to be sitting on a level footing. You get another inspection again for the bar inside, and after that you can start building.
Oh, wow.
And there's one initial inspection when you start building for the floor joists, and that's to allow the inspector to see inside the floor before it's covered, and then you're off and running.
Oh wow. Let's go walking. Will you show us kind of where the garage is and everything like that?
All right, okay, so this is the garage. It's a full-size 2-car, about 22 by 24, and there'll be an entry from the garage through the laundry room. Laundry room opens up to the left to the kitchen dining, and then full living area up in that corner. The bedrooms are on the back side.
Okay.
With a main bath between bedroom 1 and 2. Master closet, master bath, master suite, if you will, is all in this back corner. Normally I like to separate the master bedroom from the other bedrooms, just for privacy, for noise. In this plan, because it's a corner lot, it's tough to put a bedroom on an outside corner wall because you need the windows, you need your curb appeal. So in this case, where the bedrooms are more lined up, we'll end up doing insulated sound wall in between the bedrooms to assist with that noise transfer. Not a whole lot to tell from this because there's no definition without the concrete.
Yeah.
There's additional concrete going inside, but we pour that with the walls, and that'll be to support the post and beams for the floor.
Is there going to be a basement under here?
No basement, just
no
a standard
basement.
crawl space.
Wow.
Not a whole lot of basements in Western Washington.
Wow. And so what's the timeline on this getting poured?
So inspection tomorrow at 10 a.m. The footing inspection is a pretty basic inspection. And then we pour to Wednesday at 2. Because inspections are only available certain days of the week, it'll likely be another full week before we can pour the walls. I'd like to pour both this week, but given the fact that we can only get inspections on Tuesday and Thursday, it's just not going to happen.
And so this house, is it going to have how many steps?
The idea is to minimize the steps. I like building ramblers because you open yourself up to a broader market. No stairway inside. You are most often going to have some steps from the garage into the house. I like to raise my garage slab as much as physically possible out here. You don't want to have a hill climb driving into your garage, but we'll raise the garage slab as much as possible and minimize the steps from the house into the garage and try to keep that at 2 or maybe even a 1. But that remains to be seen how high we can raise that. But otherwise, just no steps at all because most people enjoy having ramblers.
Yeah. We're going to combine this video with the concrete pour, which is going to happen next week. So we're going to jump into that next, and Dave's going to tell us what's going on for the concrete pour and all that's happening there. Mud being slung into the concrete forms is exciting. So let's check out that next. All right. Hey guys, so welcome to part 2 of our docu-series on Dave Killoran's new development home here in downtown Shelton, located at 6 and Laurel Street in Shelton, Washington. Again, this is Dave Killoran, and we're at part 2. It's only been a week since our last video, and he's already got it formed up, and today is the concrete pour day. So tell us where we're at here and what's going on.
All right, this is part one of 2 pours because we do it in 2 parts. We do the footing first, make sure it's level, and then set the wall forms secondly, after tying additional rebar for reinforcement. Some guys do it all at once. They put the wall forms right on top of the footing forms, and if time is a serious issue, that's a way to go. It takes a lot more setup, save a lot of time though, and that is sometimes a critical factor. This is pretty simple today. Just gonna put the mud in and level it off, stand up the bars, cap them for safety, and then we strip tomorrow and get ready for the walls.
Right on. So far today, you know, second week, has there been any new surprises with this new construction project? You know, you're an experienced builder, you got it down to a science, but has there been any surprises? Or
I think a lot of what people don't know is the fees that are structured behind, both in front of and in the back side of building a house. It's not just the labor and the lumber and the concrete. You have front-end fees, which of course is your permit, your permission to connect to sewer and water, the cost of actually connecting outside the permission. Of course, you have to have power. Big surprise today, I just got the call from PUD, and it is higher than I've ever experienced before. And we are surrounded by power above us, but yet the situation is such that we have to upgrade a transformer, set another pole. It is what it is. You have to have power and you have to pay it. But these costs are extensive, and I think a lot of people don't understand that cost of a house can sometimes be 15% or more empty fees that you don't really get anything for. So for example, the cost to connect the water and sewer in Shelton is $11,000.
$11,000 just to connect water?
No, that's the permission to connect. Then you have to pay to actually physically connect. So it just keeps going and going. If it was just labor, lumber, and concrete, it would be a lot more fun and a lot less expensive. But you try to keep housing affordable, but you have to pay these fees, and of course you can't just swallow them. They have to get passed on with the whole house package.
And that is one of the reasons why housing has increased significantly in our market.
It's one of many variables. I wouldn't even say it's the majority, maybe a plurality of those costs, but demand has a lot to do with it. But absolutely, anytime you have a new regulation that requires payment, it gets tacked on to the price. It's just as simple as flipping burgers, and labor goes up, well then the price of the burger goes up. So 20 years ago we didn't have these fees, and houses were a lot less expensive. But again, it's not the only variable. There's many things that go into the pricing of the house. It's certainly one of them.
Wow. Has there been any other costs that you've had to kind of fight back as you're trying to keep housing affordable for the community and future buyers?
It comes down to, when you build a brand new house, there's only so much fighting back you can do. And you can't buy used stuff and put in a new house. So you do the best you can, and you try to put a product out that is above average and still affordable. Really tight line to walk.
Wow. I think really respectable desire that with all of these kind of infringing forces of, you know, more costs, more money, you're still trying to keep housing affordable. But again, you can only still do it to a certain extent.
We try, but one of the new ones since I built last was the sidewalk requirement. So
what's that?
$8,000 is the fee in lieu of a sidewalk. Now, I would love to put that money in to the frontage of my own house and have a sidewalk, but unfortunately it would be impossible to do that for $8,000. The cost I got was $13,500. So now you have to weigh the two choices. Do you spend that kind of money and get the sidewalk, or spend $8,000 as a fee in lieu of the sidewalk and keep moving? In this one, we already have enough surprises that we have to keep the cost down. We'll do the best to landscape and make it look nice, but unfortunately we're not going to get a sidewalk.
Guys, so that is one of the reasons why I get a lot of messages. Why is housing so expensive? I mean, these are the reasons. External factors that builders cannot control, government that you can't control, but I mean, Dave here is trying to keep it affordable as best as he can. It is what it is. So I really commend you, Dave, for, you know, doing what you can to keep housing affordable for the people here in Shelton, Washington, and other people that want to move here. But exciting day as we're getting ready to pour. And so let's go check out some of the pour and some of the rebar and the different things here. All right, so the mud's a little bit late today. I guess we're running late on another job, so I'm gonna run down and back to Morocco. Gotta get my coffee, so we're about to go get the whole crew some coffee and make sure we stay caffeinated up, and let's do this. That's what you do when you're waiting for concrete. Get more coffee.
mud right into them storms, y'all.
With my big black hose.
Yeah, look at that hose. That hose weighing at least like 80 pounds over his shoulder. Look at him making it happen like it's nothing. Laying it in there. Look at that.
So that's it for today. They're gonna finish up pouring the first part of the two-step concrete pour for the foundation. They're gonna finish this up. The next part of the video will be the second step of the two-part pour of the foundation. And so they're gonna finish up pouring here, and the next part of this video will be the second part of the pour. And as you can see, they are finishing up right now. Dave is finishing the concrete, getting the upright rebars uprighted, getting the concrete continue to finish here. And tomorrow we'll be stripping. Hey.
All right, this is phase 2, stage 2 of the concrete pour. These are the foundation walls or stem walls. It's a lot of work. I'm not a concrete guy by trade, but it's something that anybody can do if they have enough patience. So standard 2-foot forms. These are going to be 6-inch walls. Rebar per code inside is all tied together. These are for wall hold downs. So the walls get built and these straps attached to it, and that's offering additional strength to keep it from lifting up in some violent windstorm, I suppose. Some of these things are really overkill, in my opinion, but it's things we have to do, and so here they are. All these clips on the surface are to keep the forms from spreading when you add the concrete. Concrete is extremely heavy and extremely dense. I've been party to a lot of blowouts in 25 years, and they are spectacular, but they're a real pain in the butt to clean up. So I put a lot of clips on, trying to prevent any possibility of a blowout. This here is the electrical ground. This was a requirement that came about in the last, I'd say 12 to 15 years. And basically it's using the entire rebar system within the house as your grounding device for your breaker box. It does keep things cleaner. We used to pound a stake outside and ground to that. There's something to trip on, get in the way of the lawnmower, but this is a lot cleaner, a lot easier. After the concrete is poured, we're gonna fill the garage to a height that makes sense with the elevation of the road. The higher we can fill the garage, the fewer steps we have coming out of the house. And I like to keep it down to 1 or 2 steps, but I also don't want to do a hill climb into the garage with the cars. So that'll remain to be seen how high we can go, but I intend to use a lot of this dirt over here to go back into the garage prior to the concrete. So if we come over to the house side, you look inside the walls, we have vents that are embedded, and you can vent a house one of 2 ways. You can put the vents in the foundation, or after the house is built, you can cut them into the siding and the joist. It's not as clean. Sometimes it's necessary based on elevations, but if you have a fairly flat lot like this, it's best to put it in the foundation and not have it interfere with the insulation under the floor. Overall, pretty basic forming, just making sure you're square and parallel is what's important. All the blocks in the middle are to support the post and beam system that keeps the interior floor from being bouncy.
So it's going to be a very strong floor because of how close those concrete blocks are to each other?
Correct. We could, if we wanted to be minimum builders, we could run just the center line.
Oh, wow.
And have longer spans, but those longer spans create really bouncy floors. You come around this corner over here, you might be like the inspector and ask what this pink foam is at the bottom. And this is
what is that?
in a couple of spots. This one is for the water line, and it's just easier than drilling concrete later to run the water line through. So you pour all the concrete, and then you can, with just a hammer, you just tap out a hole and push your water pipe in for the house. And there's another set of foam blocks over there for the sewer pipe to come out.
And so what's happening next after this tomorrow? What's happening tomorrow?
So tomorrow, 1 o'clock, we pour these and start stripping on Thursday, Friday. That's the part about concrete I don't like. It's fun to put together, it's like a puzzle, but unlike the other part of house building, you bring all this lumber and material on site just to take it down, pack it up, and haul it away. So it's a little redundant, and I'm not as fast as a concrete crew, so I don't look forward to it, but we need to get this show on the road.
All right, y'all. So next up, tomorrow, we'll be here. We'll be showing the concrete going into the second step of the pour. It's going to be really cool. Dave is rocking it. I think we're only on week 3, right, Dave? We're on week 3 of this project?
I hope not. Has it been that long already?
It's flying. I mean...
Well, I'd like it to go a little faster. As long as we're making progress, I'm happy.
Absolutely. So we're going to be here tomorrow shooting that, showing that progress of that, and everything's rolling. It's going quick. Things are looking good, and we'll show you the concrete pour next. Check that out.
back on a beautiful weekend to take apart the panels. Forming concrete is a lot of work putting it together and a lot of work taking it apart. Actually pouring the concrete is only about 45 minutes to an hour, but it's all that work that goes into it in the beginning that results in a good product. So far from what I can see, it's looking pretty good. So popping the panels off, cleaning them, returning them for the next job.
And as you can see, it is labor intensive. And it's looking very good. If we pop on the other side here, it is coming off nice. Look at that smooth finish there.
The cleaner the panels are for the next job, the better the work turns out.
Beautiful.
Rinse and repeat. Sometimes you just can't quite remember how you put it together, so it has to come apart in the same manner you put it together. So we'll move on.
Hey Dave, will you tell everyone what's the next step after this?
Well, after everything gets cleaned up, we want no lumber on the outside of the foundation because we're going to have the excavator back, and these mountains of dirt are what create the finished grade for the lot and also fill up the garage to elevate the slab a little bit. And then a day or so after that, we start framing.
Right on.